Hi, friends. Welcome to La Femme en Bleu. Thank you for tuning in. Wanted to thank you for supporting me, watching my videos. Hopefully, some of you are able to relate to some of these stories. Maybe you have stories of your own that you would like to share. Feel free to leave a comment. But I want to share, of course, right now we're getting close to the summer. So I have to figure out what the summer's going to look like. My son is going to have to spend time with his father. Um, and unfortunately, those weeks are not always productive. And he spends a lot of time on a tablet, a lot of times playing games. And when I say a lot of times, I sincerely mean it, a good 8 to 10 hours. And so it's always hard when I get him back to kind of diffuse him, really, to kind of have him transition back into a schedule of what life should have looked like. I mean, yes, he can have some playtime, but, more like an hour here and there, and then be outside and play. And that's what summer's all about. I remember growing up with my siblings, we were always trying to find outdoor activities. And with my younger brother, we used to play all sorts of games, whether we were outside playing soccer or baseball, um, anything. When I think about it now, it was all boys games, but I didn't mind. They were boys, and so I didn't have anyone to play with my dolls. And I think a lot of the majority of my time, I wasn't playing with dolls. In fact, I remember as I grew up, I realized that most of my dolls they had full hair, and when I would go over to someone else's house and I would see dolls, most of the time they had no hair because kids would play with their dolls and comb the hair, and of course the hair would fall out. But my dolls always had hair because I never really played with them. I had dolls, but the majority of the time I was playing with my brother, my younger brother. Um, we were doing a lot of reading, and so I, I don't want to cheat my son from spending time with his father, but at the same time, I want those times to be quality, and I'm hoping that my ex will see that these are precious times and we don't get them back. And so I'm hoping that he will spend quality time with him and not have him cooped up in a home with his wife. And so, yeah, so that's where we are dealing with, I guess, a step person, because I'm not giving her the label, um, a, a step person, a new wife in the picture who's gonna have to spend quality time with my son. And I don't like that personally because I don't know what the individual's intentions are. And I really wish that he would see that the time away from me is really meant to be spent with him, not with a third party. But anyway, so that's where we are. We're dealing with that issue, and that's it. Really, I cringe every moment that he's not with me because at the end of the day, I don't think, um, whether it's my ex or his new wife, whether either one of them will actually think of what's best for my son. And so that's where we are, dealing with those new issues that I have to deal with. And of course, these are, yeah, these are trying times. That's all I can say about that. Um, yeah. So, thank you for listening. I'll bring you up to date um, in terms of other things that are happening in the back burner. But don't want to bore you with my stories. But for me, this is an outlet for me to release, and that's what I'm doing. Thank you for tuning in. Again, this is La Femme en Bleu, and I appreciate